Okay, many of you lost points on the rubric because you didn't use paraphrased information. So what is paraphrased information? Well, in a nutshell, it's evidence from your text. In this case, it's the articles that we read about child labor and sweatshop. In a persuasive letter, you have to use evidence from an article, from a reliable source, to prove your opinion. So if you didn't use any evidence, while you might have a strong opinion, it doesn't really have a lot of credibility to it. We need to use some evidence from a published article to prove what we're saying is true. Okay, so what you do is you go find evidence from the text and you put it into your own words. So, for example, if I go to the article, factory workers are forced to lie during Adidas safety inspections. Okay, so I read this article and I really like the evidence down here that says that the management gets people to hide in bathrooms during safety inspections, so it looks like there are fewer people on the production line. I'm assuming they also hide children in the bathroom during safety inspections. Okay, here it's actually a quote. Somebody actually said this. See how there's quotation marks? I know that that's something somebody said, but I want to put this in my own words. Okay, so I'm going to read it over to myself a couple of times. They, the management, get people to hide in bathrooms, so there are fewer people on the production line and it looks more efficient. If Adidas wants to ask questions, the workers are prepared beforehand with questions and answers. We can never tell the truth. Otherwise, we might lose our jobs. Okay, here's the hard part. How can I put that into my own words? It doesn't necessarily have to be shorter. Sometimes your own words might be longer, but I'm just going to keep going back and forth between the article and my paper. And when you do put it in your own words, you never really want there to be more than 2 words in a row from the article that are the same. So I'm going to make sure that there's never, so I wouldn't even really, after it says they get, I'm going to make sure that this is not the same word. So as a rule of thumb, there shouldn't be more than 2 words in a row that are the same when you're paraphrasing. Okay, so let me start with the first part. The management get people to hide in bathrooms, so there are fewer people on the production line and it looks more efficient. Okay, so I'm going to go to my text, and so I'm going to start writing that. During safety inspections, workers are forced to hide out in places like the bathroom, so it doesn't look as crowded on the production line. Does that say the same thing? Let's double check. So I'm going to go back to the article. Where was that part? Okay, they get people to hide in bathrooms, so there are fewer people on the production line and it looks more efficient. Is that what I said? During safety inspections, workers are forced to hide out in places like the bathroom, so it doesn't look as crowded on the production line. I like it. Okay, there's never really more than 2 words in a row that are used in what I paraphrased and the article. Let's do the second half. If Adidas wants to ask questions, the workers are prepared beforehand with questions and answers. We can never tell the truth, otherwise we might lose our jobs. Okay, how am I going to say that in my own words? Workers are prepared with answers they are supposed to give when inspectors ask them questions. They are encouraged to lie to make it look like the factory is is following the rules. Okay, does that say the same thing in my own words? Workers are prepared with answers they're supposed to give when inspectors ask them questions. They're encouraged to lie to make it look like the factory is following the rules. You know, I didn't really put in this part. See, I might have paraphrased a little too much because here it says we can never tell the truth, otherwise we might lose our jobs. I think I need to add that. If the workers tell the truth about what really happens, they might get fired. Workers tell the truth about what really happens, they might get fired. Now I'm happy with how I've paraphrased. I think it's important when you paraphrase, you want to include everything that it says. You don't really want to leave out the important parts. Okay, now, something really important. Even when you paraphrase, even when you put it in your own words, you have to cite it. It's still not my intellectual property. I didn't go to Bangladesh and interview these workers to find out that they have to lie when the inspectors come. I just read the article. So I need to say whose intellectual property this is. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my paragraph. Okay, and excuse me, I'm going to go back to the article. Okay, I'm going to cite this now. Okay, here's the author. Let's do a parenthetical citation for this. So this was written by Kathy Marks. I know in a parenthetical citation, I'm going to use the author's last name. Makes it nice and simple. So at the end of my paraphrased information, that's not my intellectual property, I'm going to put in a parenthetical citation. Okay, last part. I've paraphrased. I've cited it. I need to have a follow-up sentence to explain why this information is relevant in my letter. Why is this information important? So what? Okay, so I'm going to go to my letter and I'm going to say, this proves that even though there are safety inspections, the inspectors might not be seeing what is really happening in the factories. Okay, so here's my sentence that shows why this why this paraphrased information of a quote is relevant. So I have my evidence, I put it in my own words, I cited it, and I explained why it's relevant to my letter. Thank you.